we start now?
Yeah, let's just start. It's fine.
Okay.
He should be. Hopefully, he comes in the room.
Okay. Maybe he will come in later.
Sure.
Okay. A little problem of the beginning. Sorry. Okay. Welcome everyone to. And today I'm very glad to invite BlockSwap Scott to share the information about BlockSwap. Welcome. Okay, that is coming.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Well, it's great.
Okay. Now it's all right.
Okay. Okay, let's begin today's AMA. First, Matt and Scott.
Scott, do you want to start it?
Yeah, I think the Venus is frozen.
Oh.
Okay. Matt first.
All right. Yeah, I can start it. Myself, Matt. I'm the CEO of BlockSwap. I lead the projects. I have a background of blockchain architects. I've been in the blockchain for the last 4.5 years. So currently heading the BlockSwap. Trying to help proof of stake networks to deliver their value to an everyday user in a meaningful manner. I'm pretty excited to talk to the community today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Scott?
myself. I'm Chief Commercial Officer for BlockSwap Network. Prior to coming to BlockSwap, I was Director of Global Business Development for a protocol called WanChain, based in Beijing. So I led our EMEA team for the business development and partnership side. And then after that, I was running the WeWork FinTech and Blockchain Labs, which is WeWork's incubator for early stage FinTech and blockchain startups. There with in London as well. So yeah, worked with some really great projects like MakeItOut, Celsius, Swissborg, and a bunch of others. So and now full steam on BlockSwap.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, BlockSwap CEO Matt and Scott. Again, okay, let's begin. As I know, many users in the community are not so much familiar with BlockSwap network. So at the beginning, could you introduce BlockSwap to us, please?
Yeah, sure. I can do an intro and then Matt, if you want to give some more context.
Okay.
So yeah, you can in from a high level, you can see BlockSwap as an immutable, decentralized, and non-custodial protocol that's bringing fixed income products to proof of stake chains. So really, like, how do you utilize staking and proof of stake as a underlying mechanism to trustlessly redistribute wealth to like a mass consumer base? And we really believe like in the crust of it is enabling like mass adoption utilizing DeFi will be primarily through like problem solving and really solving everyday user problems. And one of those problems is how do you enable users to safely and securely preserve their assets and give them a sustainable savings, which will stand the test of time.
Okay. So if I can see that BlockSwap build fixed income products and improve the liquidity of post-chain, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm interested about what is the original intention of BlockSwap? What are the problems of DeFi that BlockSwap is committed to solving?
I can
Matt, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure, I can take that. So BlockSwap is a mission-driven company which is trying to onboard next million users onto proof of stake blockchains, solving a real-world problem, right? So we believe we are product-based company, so we believe product market fit is very crucial, as a company to connect the users. So if under the thesis of the next a lot of users is going to join the crypto will be earning crypto rather than buying a coin, right? We all got into crypto somehow. We bought a Bitcoin or Ethereum, something like this is our journey, right? How we began. But if you want to bring like 1 million users, these users will be coming into crypto, but through some kind of they are directly using an application earning crypto. And BlockSwap was around more than 2 years in DeFi space. And we believed from the beginning, proof of stake is the way that you can, serve a large number of users, like 100 million users or 1 billion users. Proof of stake chains are, constructed in a way it is meant to be serve a large number of users rather than a proof of work. So we were very excited with the ETH2 launch because ETH2 is like one of the biggest thing happened in the blockchain, and we want to connect the proof of stake underlying asset inflation. Like in any proof of stake chain has a token with an inflation, so the token will give additional tokens to the users directly, and proof of stake and BlockSwap want to be the bridge between the sovereign, the blockchains and the everyday users through a fixed saving account. So simple as that, a user will get a fixed saving from that is completely powered by blockchain without having any other intermediaries in between.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah.
I heard that BlockSwap has reached a partnership with several institutions. Could you tell us which partners BlockSwap has reached? Will new partners join BlockSwap in the near future?
Yeah, I can take that. So BlockSwap, we're fully focused on proof of stake chains and working directly with proof of stake chains. So we work directly with the chain foundations themselves. So far, our protocol, first liquidity layer OpenSaver will support 4 proof of stake chains primarily, and then we'll expand that going forward. Those chains are Cardano, Polkadot, Algorand, and Ethereum ETH2. And then secondly, we have a community net that's running at the moment, and we have within that something called stakehouses and stakehouse operators. And these stakehouse operators include Polygon, Republic Crypto, Impossible Finance, and some other large communities. So yeah, we've really been quite thoughtful in the communities that we work directly with.
Okay, thank you. We knew that at the end of March, BlockSwap completed the $2.5 million of the round of private equity financing. What are the outstanding advantages of BlockSwap that attract investors' attention?
Yeah, so I think going back to what we're facilitating now and focused on now with the community net, so we have over 100,000 unique registered users to join the Stakehouse game. And as the Stakehouse game progresses and users interact with our smart contracts via an easy-to-use interface such as Telegram, all of those users will actually become token holders. So that statistic alone is pretty important. And also, this is one of the largest social coordination experiments that's ever been run on a DAO structure. So I think that's something that's very exciting. If you look at DeFi currently, it's still a very small number of users that are participating, mainly because it's quite complex to participate. You need to really have a technical background or at least some understanding of how to add liquidity into these different pools, impermanent loss, all these other aspects. With our community net, users are actually earning tokens with just a few clicks. And we've really been, again, very thoughtful in how we refine that user experience, going from 10 to 12 or 15 even clicks with some of the other DeFi protocols to just 2 clicks within ours.
The next question, I want to ask Matt. Please, Matt will answer my question. We always know liquidity squeeze on post-chain is a common difficult problem. How has BlockSwap bring fixed income products to pros assets to avoid and solve the above problem?
Right. So, well, good question. BlockSwap is having a new architecture, which is we did it from the ground up. OpenSaver system will allow a normal user from anywhere in the world. So, is that user is from Indonesia or China, from US or from Africa? Anyone can, deposit their native currency or the ERC20 into a blockchain account, and they can earn 7% interest on dollar, right? The underlying mechanics of this is pretty simple. Every time a user deposit, for example, Alice comes and deposit like $100, and Alice just won't get an account with a 7% yield, and the underlying deposit of $100 will be, utilized to buy a proof of stake asset by the smart contracts. So on the other side of the smart contract, there's a market where more risk tolerant crypto native traders will basically get advantage of using this the proof of stake assets to take a easy exposure. For example, this is what you do when you walk into a bank. You open a savings bank account. You don't know what is this bank money is going to be, because all the other steps are completely in the backseat. In a similar fashion, you can just replace your bank with a smart contract and say that you give the money to a smart contract, and smart contract will manage it yourself, and it is completely backed by 150% proof of stake assets on the other end, and that's a guarantee. The security aspect of it. So there is no intermediary. It's just basically smart contract is giving you that yield from the proof of stake assets.
Compared to famous AMM, such as Uniswap, what are the unique advantages of Stackhouse launched by BlockSwap?
Yeah, so advantages. So actually, you can see Stakehouse is slightly different from just a traditional automated market maker. You can see Stakehouse is actually an automated asset market maker. So there's some slight nuances. So what is Stakehouse like from a conceptual perspective? It's a simple shared registry that simply allows different node operators to register their nodes and associated validators in order to permit liquidity abstraction. And so what does this really mean? It means that anyone can actually spin up an asset management system and actually incentivize liquidity, and then reward their users in a structured way with tokens. And so it's not a case of you're still dependent on a system to pull this liquidity into one place in a non-custodial and decentralized structure. Actually, anyone can do this, and anyone can do this at a very low cost. And so I think there's a lot of development happening in this, and a lot of development happening around DAOs. And I think we're really progressing at quite a pace to enable this automated asset market maker system and bring this to many people. So yeah, there's a lot of differences from traditional automated asset and market makers.
I can add a couple of points if you want. At the moment, it's most of these assets or in Uniswap is basically for trading perspective, right? So you go and give a token A, DAI, or USDC, you're gonna trade it. But Stakehouse come from a different angle. It's not a market maker for trading. It is helping people to deploy their assets. For example, staked assets or any other long-term assets need to be on the balance sheet. We have seen Tesla is adding Bitcoin, and later, and then other companies, MicroStrategy is adding Bitcoin. All these companies are adding their digital assets into their balance sheet. And these assets are sitting in the balance sheet and need to be further deployed and make it accessible for the market. And this is where the Stakehouse is coming into the play. immediately allow any digital asset sitting on a blockchain to be available for market and to operate automatically for liquidity purpose.
That's okay. That's good. And I heard that your APY stayed at 7%. So as the first fixed income product on BlockSwap, what's the specific operation mechanism of OpenSaver, and how to keep it? How to keep the APY staying at 7%?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, you can see like OpenSaver it's a new type of architecture that's been built from the ground up, and what it enables is everyday users to get access to a sustainable savings through DeFi, really without having to understand the complexities and technicalities of participating in DeFi. So every asset in OpenSaver ecosystem has a fixed rate of yield. In this case, a user that's bringing their native fiat, they're getting a 7% fixed yield, and that's coming from a bonded proof of stake asset as its collateral backing that actual deposit. So basically what happens is every time a saver is purchased, so a user is buying up one of these saver dollars or several of these saver dollars, a saver bond is minted as the collateral of that saver, and that saver bond is always keeping 150% collateralized ratio. So, for example, how that 7% is maintained, if the price of the base asset decreases, this now creates like an arbitrage opportunity to really go long on the staked asset and enables the market to buy up these saver bonds. And that the liquidity providers buying up these saver bonds then have the managed rights to the underlying saver bond. What they can do is they can then flip that in the market. So it's basically quite synonymous with like traditional money markets, and asset managers already know how to interact with this kind of system. But it always enables the safety net for a end consumer who's simply depositing their fiat to get that 7% at any given time and not really have to worry about the market price fluctuations of the proof of stake assets.
Matt, the next question: are there any participation requirements of threshold? Can all users participate in OpenSaver?
Yeah, great question. So OpenSaver, as the name suggests, it's open for anyone. So there is no limitation or barrier to participate with OpenSaver. Anyone can participate with OpenSaver if they have an internet access, right? So one of the key things that we're trying to do now, putting a test environment right now, it is on live. People are participating with our system directly from Telegram, right? This is like unheard of. So the system that we develop, OpenSaver, can be available on a mobile, on a browser, on any on a computer, or even could be integrated to the social apps. So what we're trying to bring is like a permissionless, the promise of the permissionless access from blockchain, connect that to our daily life in a social apps and things like that, and give that kind of social experience for users to deal with their finance, right? It's like an Instagram moment of how do you take a photo and put up into the internet and have that satisfaction. So that's kind of a user experience that we're trying to bring, but with the added security of blockchain that is offering out of the box.
Dual token architecture of BlockSwap is an innovation. What's the innovation of dual token architecture, and what is the different experience for participants? Scott?
Yeah. So yeah, firstly, I can talk about like Stakehouse, the token architecture for that. So in Stakehouse, what we've essentially done is simplified the staking process and at the same time isolated like the slashing risk. So what happens is we enable stakers in Ethereum, for example, to bring 32 ETH. And what they do is they join a specific on-chain staking node called a stakehouse, as we previously described. And in return, they get, for their 32 ETH, they receive 24 DETH. The DETH is a non-slashable representation of their underlying staked asset. If you're familiar with liquid staking, it's quite synonymous with that. And they also receive 8 slot token. And the slot token is a perpetual bond. And this is acting as like the equity of a stakehouse. So, for example, let's just say that you were able to bring on a number of validators within the stakehouse in like week 1. The slot token has an underlying value of that. And then let's just say in week 10, the amount of users and liquidity or liquidity within that stakehouse increased, the value of the underlying slot token would have increased. So yeah, you can kind of see it like similar to how like traditional stock markets work in a sense, whereby you have all these different stocks and all these different entities behind these stocks being like tokens, and then the value of that entity increases as more revenue and profitability comes into that entity. So it's a similar concept. Sorry, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
You're back.
It's cool.
Okay. Oh, I just thought a little problem again.
No problem.
Okay. And BlockSwap launched the test network community net token not long ago, right? I heard about that. I want to know how the users get the tokens and what's the role of these tokens for users. So could you tell us about that?
Yeah, for the community net. So the community net, we have a token directly being utilized for this purpose, which is called CBSN, so Community Net BlockSwap Network Token, and users can receive this by participating in this stakehouse game. So we call the community net a protocol market fit exercise, and this is really where we're looking to stress test the protocol, at the same time bring users into the protocol so they can learn and understand how to interact with it in like a safe and simulated environment, where they're not having to put up like real ETH or other staked assets. And what they do is really they just come so far to Telegram. Everything's being interacted over Telegram with smart contracts running in the background. They click buttons through a customized bot application, and then they start earning the CBSN rewards. So what we're doing is we're simulating this stakehouse structure. As I mentioned before, we have like stakehouse operators such as Polygon, Republic Crypto, Impossible Finance, and other communities. And then they simply interact and earn the CBSN rewards.
Okay. Maybe we all interested about next question. The next development plan, the milestone of BlockSwap network, and which site will your team focus on?
Yeah.
Matt?
So
Can you answer
I
this
can hear.
question?
Sure. So currently we're running the testnet. We are approaching the mainnet. We're going to be launching mainnet is within the next 2 months. So the development is going in full steam. We have nearly 100,000 users testing our testnet, unique users from all around the world. especially from Asia, from other parts of the world. People are just using it and getting the rewards. So once the mainnet is coming, everyone can start earning 17% on ETH, on an autopilot, and also they can have a UBS account which having a 7% dollar fixed yield from their mobile. So this is something that we want to make it happen. So within the next 3 months, the mainnet is coming out for ETH2 and for other networks.
And the last question, maybe after the last question, we will pick up one or two questions from our audience in the right side of chatbot. Okay, the last question of mine. Could you summarize your future expectations of BlockSwap network in one sentence?
Yeah, I can give my one sentence, and maybe Matt's will be a bit different. So for me, it's really how do you enable anyone with a mobile device and an internet connection to access a universal basic savings through sustainable savings products. So we're really abstracting away the technicalities of DeFi and giving value to the next 10 million, 100 million users coming into crypto by simply holding a token. And this enables anyone to actually get access to this through our coordinating liquidity layer called Stakehouse framework.
Okay. And
Great.
Okay, could you see? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Matt.
Go ahead. Ask.
Okay. Okay. Could you see the chat board in your right side?
Yeah, I can take it. The benefits of the project in the future. Right.
Okay. So, there are so many investors questions from our audience. So could you pick one or two to answer?
Yeah. So there's a question about what is the how can BlockSwap help users to come for the long term and to minimize the negative impact of the volatility in the crypto. This is one of the key aspects that we're trying to solve. BlockSwap want to be the most trusted partner for our users to safely deposit their money into the crypto world on the DeFi ecosystem, right? And we want to give them a complete peace of mind, giving them a fixed, percentage, and they don't really have to worry about it, so they can just safely deposit the money and they can go away. We also want to be in a product that understands and connect with the user very, very, emotional sense. So we want to give them that social experience. So not only they get an ultimate security, but they also get most friendly and user experience when they interact with the product. And in this manner, we try to be the bridge between the institutions out there who want to, actively participate in the crypto aspects, but the users will get benefit while all the institutions are deploying this money, and they can get meaningful products on the one side. So we truly want to be the middle ground between how institutions are deploying the money and also how the users are getting the benefits of this growing ecosystem in a product. So UBS is one of the things that we think this will solve in the long term. A user who really don't have to think too much coming into the crypto. So in the long term, we think universal basic saving account will become a standard, a global standard for how do you onboard a new user into the crypto and how do you onboard a billion user into a crypto, without having any overhead.
The last question from our audience. After the last question, we will end today's AMA. And the last question, Matt, could you pick up one from the chat board?
Do you want to take it, Scott? I took it one, so maybe it's your choice.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, sure.
maybe you can pick one, the last one.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a lot of questions around like community and the importance of community for us, and absolutely, community is paramount. We've been like very thoughtful in the information that we put out to make sure like the community have a full understanding of what we're developing at the right time. So if you go and visit our blog, you won't really see any like loose partnerships or sort of just like airy information. Everything is like very much towards what are we building, and like what is the current development of what we're building. But yeah, I think like community is fundamentally important because we're doing this community net really to find out how users interact with the protocol at its current stage, and we've already made like several like huge developments in our architecture and the whole user experience of the product just by getting the users' feedback. And of course, like coordinating like such a large volume of users is not an easy endeavor. But so far, like the community has been fantastic, and they've been able to join the Steakhouse game, like with some teething problems, which we've been able to fix as we go along. And that feedback we've been able to receive, and it's continuing to improve the protocol. So there's been like 3 cases already where we've had feedback from our community saying, hey, look, like this is too complex. We have to do too many steps. And we've like literally refined, we've gone and we've like completely restructured our architecture to go from like 8 clicks where you have to like add liquidity and pull out liquidity and gas costs involved with that, towards now we've been able to connect a mainnet token, which is CBSN, and also we have another token called SHB, connecting that through and enabling users to interact on Rinkeby, where there's no cost or there's very minimal cost to them for actually participating. So you have this system where community is giving us feedback, we're receiving that feedback, and we're executing and improving this Steakhouse DAO structure. And it's been a very like interesting endeavor. So what I'd recommend as like closing remarks is there's a lot of tokens, CBSN tokens, that users can come and actually like claim by participating. And the participation is actually, it's very simple. It's not a case of needing to add any liquidity themselves. You don't need to hold any tokens, and you're never sending tokens within our system. It's simply a case of connecting your wallet to check that you have the right tokens within the wallet, and then you get access to the Steakhouse game, and then you start earning the incentive rewards through joining one of the steakhouses. So yeah, come and visit joinsteakhouse.com. That's really the portal to where you can see the different steakhouses and also how to join the Steakhouse game. And if you want to read a full overview on what we're building with the steakhouses and OpenSaver, the universal basic savings account scheme, come visit blockswap.network.
So many information. Okay. Okay, thank you guys, Matt and Scott again. And second, audience watch our YouTube tonight. If any question, please feel free to contact us and leave a message to us. Okay, today's AMA is ending. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. That was great.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Have a nice one.
Thank you again.
Bye-bye. Take it easy. Bye.